Andrew Leake from Buckinghamshire believed to have killed himself after throwing the incendiary devices. Alice Porter is outside his flat for us now in Woburn Green. And Alice, it does appear this was quite a troubled individual.
Yes, absolutely. I've been speaking to a number of the neighbours here. Many describe Andrew Leake as pleasant, an ordinary man, although one man did sort of say to me that he was his friend but didn't know what was going on beneath the surface there, because he did what he may have appeared an ordinary man. He did a very extraordinary act on Sunday. He drove all the way down to Dover, which is over 100 miles from here, and as you were just saying there, he threw three sort of improvised sort of petrol bombs at a migrant processing centre. Luckily, no one was severely hurt. Two members of staff had minor injuries. He then went to a nearby petrol station where he took his own life. Now, counter-terrorism police say it was likely the attack was sparked by some form of hate-filled grievance. They have undertaken a search of the property behind me and say they found a number of items of interest. Andrew Leake's social media has also been looked at, and there were a number of anti-Muslim posts. But crucially, police say there was nothing to suggest that Andrew Leake was working alongside anybody, that there was no threat to the wider community, and therefore they're not treating it as a terrorist incident at this stage. Now, the MP for North Thames, Sir Roger Gale, described Andrew Leake as having severe mental health problems and that he had no known links to far-right organisations. So in some ways this seems quite random, but on the other hand the impact has been enormous, because 700 of the migrants which were at that centre had to then move to Manston Asylum Processing Centre, which we know is already hugely overcrowded. And to have someone to do an act in this way, to attack a migrant processing centre at a very time when it's incredibly volatile, is certainly not what the government would want at this particular time, due to the sensitivity and political nature of the subject.
And is that why we believe that the counter-terrorism officers moved in, is to check if this was part of a wider picture, which thankfully it appears not to be?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I think it was clearly that sort of act on Sunday, looking at the footage and the target, one would think that it was a political act, but actually it does suggest, from what the police are saying so far, that he was working on his own, and that whilst he may appear from his social media to have right-wing sentiments and things, it does not necessarily mean it is a terrorist attack in terms of both the ideology, in terms of also whether it's organised by a group of people. But they've said that he was very much operating on his own, and I think the mental health comments from MPs, and that the police have sort of said as well, suggest that it is more in line with that rather than it being terror related.